Football season has officially arrived because obviously here we are, week 0. If you want to watch some of the snooze fests that are in fact available, well, then that's 100% up to you. Or you can join us today as we're going to talk a little bit of the entire landscape of college football. Obviously, the last Bedlam for the foreseeable future. Mike Gundy, the SEC moves that are being made, as well as the new Big 12 moves. So let's just jump off into this thing. It is not going to have any ads, commercials, anything. We're just going straight through. It's going to be firing at you.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, you might not have live football for the Big 12 perspective today, but you do, in fact, have live football. But we're going to set the stage. We're going to have some fun because we're going to be playing at this time this coming Saturday. So you might as well get used to going live on some Saturdays. And to kick this thing off, we got a couple guests today. We'll set the stage here. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring on the Jason and Jason effect that we have going on here today. And realistically speaking, guys, and either one of you can fire off on the get-go here. When it comes to Brett Yormark's comments that he most recently made, which a lot of us find wonderful and beautiful, some don't. But why don't you guys go ahead and fire away? What do you think that it does? Good, bad, indifferent, go. Oh, I should probably unmute you so everybody can hear you. That might help. That might help. Oh, you're both muted. That might help. There we go. Hey. Had to start it off right. All right, fellas.
Go ahead, bud.
Ladies first. Go ahead, Jason.
Ah.
And the shots are fired already. All right.
There we go. Okay.
I do it while you're in the green room. I don't wait until you leave. I do it while you're here, buddy.
Good news. Good news. All right. So my reasoning behind it, and you know as well as anybody, Cody, that I've taken up for this league, this commissioner for sure. I mean, he's 1,000 times better than Bob Bowlesby ever was. He's not just reactive. He's been working towards keeping this league alive, and he has to do what he has to do. And I agree with what you guys said on my show the other night that in some instances, you know, you have to look at it in terms of his job is to promote his league and take care of his league. And it's okay to kick up dust on Texas, Oklahoma, whatever. That's good. The problem is that, and as I told you the other night, I have a problem with let's say Tech goes in there, wins that game that they were talking about. After the last year when you had a total of 4 holding calls called against opponents of Texas and Oklahoma, one of them coming against OU, 3 coming against Texas, I mean, we're talking about 700 and something snaps, you know, for both teams throughout the league. And there's only that many, you know, holding calls when you know that you could probably call holding on every play of every football game, right? I've never even seen a game that I could remember that didn't have a holding calls at all, right? It just happens. They didn't do it. There's also, you know, there's a lot of, I'm not going to go through the laundry list. We could sit here and talk about just an OU games. But what I would tell you is that when that perception is already there, and then you go saying stuff like that, and that's the last Big 12 game for Texas at DKR, it just doesn't look good. If Texas Tech is to win the game, there's still going to be a lot of smoke out there that, oh, well, thanks to the refs, thanks to the commissioner, thanks to blah, blah, blah. That's not fair to Tech. That's not even fair to Coach McGuire either. That's the point that I was trying to make. It's not that's the bad look that it gives off. I don't care that he's taken up for his league. It's his league. He needs to. It's his job to do that. But there's certain lines that you shouldn't cross, and that's just the way I feel about it.
All right, Jason, go ahead, and I'll give my shake here at the end. Fire away, boss man.
So I feel about the Brett Yormark comments the exact same as I feel about the Mike Gundy comments regarding Bedlam. It's what needs to be said. It's the truth, and he said it. It was a reactionary comment, and he said it. I guess that's just the difference I guess that's just the difference in OU fans and Oklahoma State fans. Well, an Oklahoma State fan like me, Like, you have a big problem with what Kenny Gajewski said in regards to Kelly Maxwell, and I think it's fantastic. So if you want to be a chicken shit and you want to leave the conference, don't get mad when people have hard feelings towards you. I mean, I don't even know why OU and Texas fans even care what Brett Yormark says about them. Like, why do you care, Jason? That's my biggest point. You got
I don't care. I don't care.
Days and you're gone.
I don't care. I don't. What I'm telling you is that it's not a good look for the league. And I told you why it's not a good look for the league. It's not a chicken shit move, though. It's a chicken shit move to whenever you're freaking – there is clearly bad officiating going on in these games. Ever since they did make that.
Hold on. I want to address that too. So you're telling me that somehow OU and Texas get screwed on calls in the Big 12? Are you freaking kidding me?
All you got to do is go back and look at the freaking – all you got to do is go back and look at it.
Let's go back and look at a whole bunch of stuff. I can point out 10 things off the top of my head in a Bedlam game that was a shitty call towards Oklahoma State. So it's just perspective. You're a fan. I'm a fan. You see the bad calls. I see the bad calls towards Oklahoma State.
It was a lack of calls, period. That's what I'm talking about. There's no bias. I'm sure there's not. Yeah, okay. But there was 4 total calls against those 2 programs. One of them against Oklahoma. Don't tell me that there's not, because there was. And the bottom line, it doesn't even matter if there is or there isn't. If there's that freaking perception going around the country, that's not a good look for your league. That's all I'm talking about.
I mean,
and as far as leaving, don't sit there and act like you guys wouldn't freaking be happy to go to the SEC too. Don't bullshit around like that. You're going to sit there and say that.
I would hope at this point in time. I would hope at this point in time that if that were in fact to happen, right? If the invite were to come, that hey, Oklahoma State join the Big 12. I would hope that Brett Yormark realizes that we're in a powerful position, and I think that the Oklahoma State powers that be would agree. It's better to go ahead and ride this Big 12 thing out, dude, because, hold on, TV timeout. Everybody might be scoffing now, but everyone was scoffing 2 years ago when they thought the Big 12 was going to die, right? And then everybody was scoffing at the Pac-12 most recently because everybody was saying, well, the Pac-12 is certainly not going to die. It died. And now you're hearing some stuff coming out there about, the Big 12 shouldn't Pac-12 themselves. Brett Yormark understands that Greg Sankey isn't exactly thrilled with him to be the commissioner in the Big 12. He's not exactly thrilled with the moves the Big 12 is making.
Sankey is not shaking in his boots over the freaking Big 12.
Oh, honky, bro. Why would he move the SEC media days? Why did he move the SEC media days?
Why would he put SEC media days in Dallas, dude? Come on.
Why would he put it in Dallas? Because he's going to have teams he's got a team in Texas. He's got 2 teams in Texas now.
And then he said that he was going to light up the sky with SEC logos everywhere. Come on, man.
It's all an arms race, man.
It is. And don't act like they're winning it. The SEC is winning it.
Well, cool. Yeah, you're right. The SEC is winning it. They've won a bunch of national championships, and they make a ton of money. You're right, but it's a very top-heavy league. The bottom half of that league is absolutely.
You wouldn't want to go. You guys wouldn't want to go to the SEC.
So for me personally, and Cody can attest to this, I do not. I would rather be a big fish in a small pond. As a fan, I would not. I don't.
Fish.
See, you just sit there and you talk that shit, dude, but you can't back it up. Oklahoma State, yes, we cannot beat Oklahoma. You're 100% right.
Yeah, right.
Everybody else, we kick their ass. Everybody, Mike Gundy's record against everybody else in the country is fantastic. He can't beat OU.
Oh, it is.
Congratulations. We'll get that right off the top for all you Sooner fans. We can't beat OU, and we know it.
During Gundy's tenure, out-of-conference games against Power 5 opponents with a winning record.
No. That won 10 games. They won 10 games.
No, with a winning record. They've only freaking beaten 3 out-of-conference Power 5 opponents in the regular season. 3.
Cool.
You know who they were?
I do know who they were.
09 Georgia 8-5.
Yep.
Mississippi State in 2013, they were 7-6, and then Pitt with the 8-5 record, and that was in
Houston technically now, but they weren't Power 5.
Technically now they weren't a Power 5 at that point.
That's right, but he's also won 11 bowl games. He's been in New Year's 6 bowl games like crazy. I mean, listen, dude, we all understand that Oklahoma is a fantastic program. You haven't won a fucking national championship in almost 30 years, 25 years, or whatever it is. You guys still consider
13 and 33 against teams that win 10 games. 13 and 33. Keep talking. Keep talking about how great Mike Gundy is, because he's not.
Okay.
When it comes to big games, whether it's OU or anybody else, he gags every freaking time.
Oh, does he? Because we were down, what, 28
to 33.
We were down 28 to Notre Dame to come back and beat their ass.
13-33.
Every big game
against teams that have won 10 games in the season. He's 13-33.
Perfect. So what?
Are you going to come up with something to show me why he's great? Or are you just going to say,
he's won 56 and 70 something in his career, dude. He's been there for
he doesn't play anybody.
Look up y'all's non-conference schedule over the last 18 years.
Of the conference.
Look up your non-conference schedule over the last 18 years.
Look it up yourself. You give it to me. Tell me why they're better. Tell me why.
I'm not saying who's better. What are you talking about? Who's better?
Tell me why. Tell me what you look it up. Tell me what you're talking about. Make your own points. I'm not making your points for you. Make your own points.
OU fans, I don't give a shit about OU's record. You looked up something about Mike Gundy. That's weird, bro. Why do you care about him so much?
You wanted to debate about Mike Gundy? I'm here.
Yeah, he's won 56
and 70 and say I'm full crap and doing a bunch of 19 stuff, but bro, you wanted me to come on here and debate you about Mike Gundy, and you don't have anything to back up your debate.
You made one point.
Back it up with something, Sherman. Back it up with something, Sherman.
He's won 56 and 70 something. He's beat everybody but Oklahoma.
Against who? He's only won 3 games against Power 5 opponents with winning records in his entire career.
Sweet.
In the regular season.
And he's also got one of the best bowl records in America too.
He's freaking 10-6 in the bowls.
He's 11-6. He's a fact straight, brother. He's won 11 bowl games.
Oh yeah, 11-6. Yeah, you're right. 11-6. You're right.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say obviously 11-6 is pretty good. And you know what, guys? Okay, here's the deal. Both to some degree can be true. Does Gundy choke in some of the big games? Yes. Is Gundy one of the most winningest coaches in all of football? Yes. Right. Both of those are true.
He did that during the time when the Big 12 was at its worst.
I'm sorry, what?
He did all this during the time that the Big 12 was at its worst. Look at his record.
What were y'all ranked in 2000? We all ranked in 2011 when we smacked your ass by 38 points.
So, what were you ranked in 2013 whenever you got beat?
You were in the top 10.
What was OU ranked in 2013 and when you guys could have went to the BCS and you gagged in that one when it was cold in Stillwater?
You want to talk about bad calls? You brought up bad calls.
And they were on their freaking quarterback who ended up being a tight end.
You want to talk about bad calls. You want to bitch how OU doesn't get any calls. That's a game right there that Oklahoma State fans have a huge problem with the officiating in. So you want to bitch about bad calls. That's one of the prime examples how OU doesn't get bad calls.
Tell me about
it. Get preferential.
Tell me about it.
1,000% that's an interception. 1,000%. You didn't get in on the fucking fake field goal. 1,000% you didn't.
Okay, you lost the game. You gagged the game up as usual. You had a 10-point freaking spread in that one for OSU, and they lost it anyway. It's just
Mike Gundy or anybody at Oklahoma State or in Stillwater put that spread up. Nobody fucking did. That's some dipshit.
That's a Vegas spread.
Las Vegas putting a number on the game.
That's Vegas. Hey, Vegas isn't wrong. You know. Oh, you're gonna now Vegas has bad spreads.
They were apparently wrong on that one because they had us a 10-point favorite and we lost, so they were apparently wrong.
Yeah, well. Just because they didn't take into account the gag reflex of Mike Gundy.
You know, I'm so glad. I love sports. I love all sports. I watched a ton of high school football last night. I've been watching all levels of football today. I love sports, right? And I'm so glad that I do not hate one particular program as bad as you guys hate Oklahoma State. And for another fact, y'all have dominated us. Why do you even fucking care? I don't understand it.
People like you talking all the shit that you talk all the time.
I've never one time talked shit about OU to you, Jason.
Bro,
never one time.
You talk shit straight to me about them all the time. All the time.
Name one thing that I've said.
Dude, whenever I came on Cody's show a couple of weeks ago instead of you, I don't know why you couldn't be on the show when you could be in there chirping the whole time. You're yelling, "Don't be talking shit about my coach." Come on.
Well, maybe mind your fucking business for one. And for
I know all of it's my business. I'm a freaking college football creator. All of it is my business.
Creator. I would use that term very loosely, brother.
Hey, of everybody here, I'm the one that's covered the league.
Perfect. Now go cover the SEC.
I will be.
Hey, I do have a question to ask you.
It'd be great if you had something to back up all your shit except for being bitchy about it. Just being bitchy about it.
I have a legit question to ask you. If you'll shut your mouth and let me ask you a legit question.
Okay.
So how come you and Coach are so mad about Mike Gundy's response about the Bedlam thing? When you played that clip the other day, was that Coach that asked him the question at Big 12 Media Days?
He asked him the follow-up question.
That's what I thought. He asked him a dumbass question. He asked him a dumbass question, and he got answered truthfully. And now Coach wants to come on here and say,
he had already said that already.
Blah, blah, blah.
Hey, did you watch the entire thing? Because he had already said the whole thing. He had already said that shit before, and Coach asked him, you wouldn't do it out of conference. That's not a dumb question.
Let's talk about that for a second. So you said that we're not scheduled up for any period of time, right? We don't have. I got our future schedule pulled up right here.
Pull it up.
Got it pulled up right here.
I'm looking at
we don't have an opening. We don't have an opening until 2030.
Bullshit.
We don't even have our schedule is completely full non-conference. Bullshit. I'm looking at it right here. 2024, we got South Dakota State, Arkansas, and Tulsa. 2025, we got UT Martin, Oregon, and Tulsa. 26, Tulsa, Oregon, and Murray State.
So you can't play. You can't replace any of these games.
Watkins, that's 7 years. That's 7 years. You knew.
And I'm not even done.
I'm not even done.
Years. In 29, we have Alabama. In 30, in 32 and 33, we have Arkansas. We're definitely not going to schedule OU when we already have Arkansas on our schedule. So that's 7.
I know why you're not going to schedule OU. You're not scheduling OU because he's 3 and 15 against them.
That's 9 out of the next 11 years that we don't have room to put OU on the schedule.
Bullshit. Yes, you do.
Bullshit.
Yes, you do.
So you tell me how Mike Gundy's comments are wrong. That's 9 out of the next 11 years.
You know why? Because he said 15 years.
So what? Semantics.
We can just say 15
He's answering
years.
a question about a schedule at a press conference when he don't have it sitting right in front of him. So
he knows what. Oh, so he doesn't know the difference in freaking 7 and 15.
Well, it's 9 out of the next 11.
It's not. It's not.
It is
all the way through there. You know damn well it isn't.
I've got the schedule pulled up right here, Jason.
Pull it up.
I've got it right in front of my face.
Share it to the screen. You're able to do that. Go for it.
Well, if I was more technologically advanced, I might be able to do that. Cody, do you know how to do that? Can you figure that out?
Nope.
There's a thing at the bottom that says share. Right on the bottom.
Well, I'm running 3 screens, and I don't know. I don't even know how to comment on this chat over here. What I'm telling you is why would we, even if we wanted to, why would it be our responsibility if OU wanted to play the game so bad? Why doesn't Joe Castiglione come out and say we want to keep the rivalry going? We understand that you're pretty full. We understand that you're pretty full up, and we're offering to pay to get somebody off your schedule so we can continue the rivalry. But nobody said that. All y'all want to do is bitch and complain about what Mike Gundy said.
Hey, he's come out and said that they would keep the rivalry. Oh, you think that they wouldn't pay the little buyout, $500,000 buyout for some of these little crap?
You're all about perception and the media.
You don't think that they would pay that? You don't think that they would pay that if that was really a problem? Because you know damn good and well that's not really a problem.
But why
do you think OU would? No, OU wouldn't pay any buyouts. Come on, bro.
No, not a penny. They can't afford to. They've got no
they can't
money.
afford to. Do you know what that little stupid thing that you guys like to say? They made more money than everybody else in their athletic program in the last 10 years. That is just out of
Texas.
Yep. They made more.
You better find that and show that on the screen, please.
You should read something other than the freaking Mike Gundy journal every once in a while, bro. You should read something besides the Mike Gundy journal every once in a while.
I'm not making your point for you. You're the one that told me that, right? You taught me that.
I said you should read something besides the Mike Gundy journal. This is just this last week. I'll find it. I will share it.
Please do. I am very interested.
Yeah, the idea that OU would pay for a buyout of an Oklahoma State year contractually, I think is beyond preposterous, buddy. You and I both know that. Hold on, OU is leaving for the SEC because there are some financial constraints and betting against future earnings for some of the stuff in their stadium.
That's not true.
So to act like they have this overabundance of money.
Revenue, even just last year's revenue was second behind Texas, $177 million.
Okay, then why
but you don't know the difference between first and second when you don't have it right in front of you. You don't know the difference in 2 numbers, like you just said about Mike Gundy. You don't know the difference.
Over the last,
you're wrong. Oh my God, you're wrong.
I'm not finished yet. God almighty, man. I was saying that was last year's. I'm talking about over the last 5 or 10 years. They're right up at the top. right up at the top. They're above Alabama. They're above freaking Georgia. They're above all these other freaking programs that you guys are talking about. They're not broke. They're not freaking broke. That's the stupidest thing in the world to even say that.
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's not very many people saying that.
That they're broke?
That they're not broke.
Hey, listen, y'all can have whatever fantasy land you want to down there in Norman, but the big bugaboo, the hang up about you guys leaving the Big 12 early, the reason y'all were going to stay the entirety of the contract is because you couldn't afford to leave. That's 1,000% factual.
What did you say?
Oh, you couldn't afford to leave. Y'all couldn't afford the buyout, and somehow it all got worked out. I don't know if y'all borrowed money from Daddy Texas or how it worked out, but when y'all first decided,
you don't know anything. No, you know how it works. Do you know how it works? The money that the Big 12 owes us, the money that Fox and ESPN, the money that yes, they do. The money that Fox and ESPN owe for this year and last year, it doesn't come in like the day that the season's over. They don't cut you a check. It happens. It's all over the next couple of years. They will take against that to get the $50 million. Big deal. They're going to make freaking. They're going to make $75 million in the SEC. They're going to make $75 million a year just from the SEC deal.
Big deal says the creator of a fan base that left the conference for money. Big deal. Big deal. 75 million is a big deal. 50 million is a big deal, right? Y'all left for money. It's obviously money is a big deal.
You would have left for the same freaking money. This is why Oklahoma State is pissed off, because they didn't get invited this time.
Oklahoma State's
you were going to leave to go to the Pac with them. You were going to leave to go to the Pac-12.
You don't know me from Adam, and you can ask Cody. Cody will attest to this. I am happy OU left. Am I not? I'm happy.
Well, yeah, I mean, but yeah, I don't understand that argument, Mr. Watkins. I haven't seen very many O State fans that are upset that they didn't.
I'm talking about the administration is pissed off, and that's why Gundy's pissed off, because he thought he was going to get drug along with them wherever they went. Because before, whenever the Pac-12 move was about to happen, Oklahoma State was involved in that. Yep. No problems. Now all of a sudden, because they didn't freaking invite you to the SEC, because the SEC didn't want you.
SEC didn't want you.
Now everybody's pissed.
SEC didn't want you either, brother. Texas needed a travel partner.
Sure. Okay.
Plain and simple.
Okay.
They could have added. They could have added.
You have a travel partner when A&M is like 100 miles away. What are you talking about?
They have to have an even number, dingle doofus.
Bro,
Brian, see, that's a ridiculous sentiment. To act like OSU fans are mad that they didn't get to go is pretty.
Matter of fact, it's just the contrary. Most OSU fans in general are
because
happy.
You guys are so happy that you don't have to get your ass whipped yearly.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing with you. 1,000%
by OU.
Yes.
By OU.
Correct.
1,000% yes. That's why I'm happy y'all are leaving. 100%, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Well, I would, you know my stance. Like I would prefer it. I think it should keep going.
He's just echoing his coach. Only his coach says something else on top of that. Instead of that, his coach doesn't have the balls to say that.
What does he say?
What other coach in the world would ever approach 3-15 against anyone, particularly their quote rivals?
What do you that sentence was zero coherent. What do you mean?
What other coach in the world would ever be able to approach 3-15 against anyone, much less their biggest rival?
Probably. Well, OU is technically our biggest rival, but the history of that rivalry from way before Mike Gundy ever. Can nobody ever finish a statement with you? Can nobody ever finish a statement with you?
Go ahead.
OSU's had a OU problem long before Mike Gundy got there. The record is what it is. We haven't even won that series 20 times in 117 games or whatever it is. We haven't even approached 20 wins yet. It's not necessarily a Mike Gundy problem. For whatever reason, it's an OSU problem. Pat Jones had that problem, and he had some damn good teams back in the 80s, and he still couldn't beat OU. For whatever reason, that's just one of those things. I don't know. I don't get it. But it's definitely just not a Mike Gundy problem. And you're right. No other coach in America could approach 3-15 against their quote-unquote rival, because no other program in America would stick by their coach like Oklahoma State has.
Damn
and
right.
I, for one, am glad they have. 150 wins in less than 2 decades, dude. They had 400 and something wins all time when he got there.
I said I'm glad they do. I'm glad they're keeping him too. They keep him forever.
I don't understand why OU fans have such a hard-on for Mike Gundy anyway. I don't understand it.
I don't.
You do, because you can't keep his name out your mouth.
Oh, no, because I tell it like it is, because I tell the truth that he's mediocre at best.
Well, that's a ridiculous – that makes you look stupid, dude. That makes you
mediocre. Look at his record.
But, hey, by definition, that's kind of a ridiculous statement.
Makes you look dumb.
How many times has he went 7-6? How many times in this career?
Only a handful.
And the only losing season he's had was his very first one. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Okay.
Brent Venables had one, his first one too. Does that make him a mediocre coach?
We don't know yet. He hasn't been a head coach for very long, but he's out recruiting him. That's the other thing.
No, he's not.
The
University of Oklahoma is out recruiting Oklahoma State University.
Wrong.
Has nothing to do with Brent Venables.
Because Lincoln couldn't do that. Lincoln couldn't get the guys that they're getting in there.
Stop, dude.
He couldn't.
That O and U on the front of your hat.
He's still not doing it.
Still not doing what?
He's still not getting the guys Oklahoma can get.
What are you talking about?
Lincoln Riley. I'm telling you that it's not OU doing it. It's freaking Brent Venables and his staff is out recruiting Lincoln Riley now.
Okay.
Go look at the freaking, you can look that up too. Fact check me, please.
I thought we weren't making each other's points.
I just said fact check me if you don't believe it. I can make the point. I know what they did. He salvaged a top 8 class in about a month and a half.
Well, hold on, man. You said that you were going to talk about how many 7-6 seasons or whatever. Again, if you want to say that Gundy has
He's fallen short on their record too, and
hold on. If you want to say that Gundy has fallen short in big moments, that's fine. But to say that he's mediocre, that's a ridiculous statement. It just is, right?
He's mediocre, dude.
His only losing season was 2005. By definition of mediocre, do I need to get up what mediocre the definition
is? Look at the Big 12. Look at the Big 12 after 2009, though. Think about it. Think about what started happening in 2009 when you lost Nebraska and you lost Colorado and you lost Missouri. And
we didn't lose them. Texas did. Come on now.
The conference lost them as conference members. Colorado.
Because of Texas. So whenever you say or anybody else says that Oklahoma State would love to be in the SEC, I disagree because the cancer that was in the conference is gone.
Even during that time, when any power players that were there, A&M, Nebraska, they were power players when they were here. I mean, not that A&M ever wins shit. They still don't. They won
the very first ever Big 12 championship, though.
And nothing after that, right?
I mean, that's what they want.
Good for them. Good for them. I'm saying the point is you lost them, you lost Nebraska, you lost all these programs. And during that time, Texas just happened to be the most irrelevant that it was going to be.
And we've dominated them.
They've been in one. Yeah, you dominated them. You've won one freaking conference championship.
Now answer this question before you continue. Hang on, before you finish that statement. How many times has Bedlam been for the Big 12 though? Like 6.
Yeah, and you lost them.
So if there was a conference championship game, we would have been in it, right? De facto championship game.
The one time?
No. We were in it. Bedlam was for, including the one we won. Bedlam was for a couple
of years that there wasn't an actual conference championship game.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is we were one of the top 2 teams in the league about 6 times in that time frame.
Good job,
the point I'm making to you is this was the time when the freaking Big 12 was at its weakest, and you only won one of them.
But OU wasn't, though, is what I'm trying to tell you. OU wasn't. So what you're telling me is we can't get by OU. We're not arguing that point. But to call Mike Gundy mediocre and that we haven't dominated everybody else in this league makes you look stupid.
It makes me look stupid. It was not a good conference. Was it not? You were beating. What I'm telling you is you were beating the rest of the conference and you weren't beating Oklahoma. And Oklahoma wasn't at its best either. Getting into even winning the 6 straight Big 12. I've said this before. The reason that it's good that Lincoln left and tore the whole thing back to the studs, they had to break. Because without a real defense, it's not going to freaking matter how many playoffs you go to. You're never going to win one. Right. And if you really care about winning the national championship,
come on, man.
Listen to what I'm telling you before you say anything about it.
Scenario. Yeah.
You either have to have a defense and have to be able to build in the trenches and redo this entire thing, because Lincoln was going to get in the shit kicked out of it. Aside from the first year when he still had a lot of the guys that they recruited with Stoops. They got smaller and smaller and smaller every year. We've talked about this a freaking million times, and you know it. They were a paper champion, a paper tiger, and nobody in the Big 12 could beat them. Still, the Big 12, come on. Baylor has won more. Hey, Baylor and K-State have both won 3 conference championships in the Big 12.
You're right. Yep, that is a factual statement.
That tells me that you're not the second best team in the Big 12 just because you won a bunch of games.
Okay.
Oh, then who would be then? Hold on, who would be then?
Texas, Baylor,
Texas, what?
Texas, Caleb Bands. Hey,
we get it.
They won a national championship.
They already gave you another one. They're already taking you to the SEC with you. You don't have to keep sucking their wiener, bro.
You can say whatever the hell you want, but they've won national title. They've been to another national title game. They won 3 conference championships to your 1.
9 and what else you got? Won 9 out of the last 13 games against them, bro.
They've been irrelevant since 2009. I'm telling you, I've already said that. I agree with you 100% on Texas. I agree with you. You guys, won 6 of 10. Good for you. They were crappy.
So
they've been
since 2009, what was your metric? You're saying Texas is the second best team? That was your metric.
I did not say. I said throughout the entirety of the Big 12.
No.
I said throughout the entirety of the Big 12.
I think you said since 2009 was how you put it.
Okay, no, it isn't how I put it. I just said they've been irrelevant since 2009.
Who has been?
Texas.
Oh,
and during that time, the best you can do is one half.
We lost Nebraska.
The best you can do during that time is one freaking conference championship and a bunch of gag jobs. That's it.
Cody, I do want to like your content because I do think you're a pretty knowledgeable fan when it comes to OU. But when you say stupid shit like that, it makes me not even want to listen to you, dude. Like, I can't even click on your fucking YouTube channel because you'll go through like 5 minutes of really smart stuff and then you'll say some dumb shit like that. Golly, man. Gag jobs.
Tell me
that's fucking ridiculous.
They do gagging them. Think about it. Think about
hang on. So it's a gag job losing
the you lost. It was a gag job against Baylor a couple of years ago. You had the best defense that you were ever going to have there, and still couldn't get it done.
So it's a gag job when we lose to OU in overtime, right? When we're an underdog, we get it to overtime. That's a gag job. We lost the game that we were supposed to lose, right? But that's a gag job. That was for the Big 12 championship. But it's a gag job.
Win some. Hey, man, you got to win some of them, or else you just gag them.
I agree.
That's all there is to it.
Nobody's denying on our end that we can't beat OU, that we have an OU problem. But when you we're admitting that. But when you turn around and say Mike Gundy is mediocre, that makes you look.
He is mediocre.
Okay, you're an idiot. You're an idiot.
Dude, he doesn't ever look.
Come on, man.
Power 5 schools with a winning record outside of his own conference.
Okay, that's one metric you've pulled up. That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I pulled up another one too, and you're not listening to it. It's fine.
I'm not listening to what?
You're not listening to any of them.
No, you're not listening to anything I say. It's fine. Pulled up one metric. That's awesome. That's a cool stat. But the fact is we did beat Georgia. We put them on our schedule, which we would have never done 30 years ago. We'd have never put them on the schedule.
46 games against Power 5 opponents with 10 wins. 13 and 33. There's another record.
What are you talking about?
46 games in his career against Power 5 opponents who win 10 games. He's 13 and 33.
Okay, in about 15
that's not even mediocre. That's crap.
And half of those losses are to OU. Exactly half those losses are to OU.
Half of the 33.
Pretty much, because we've lost 15 times. Half of 30 is 15. So about half of those losses are to OU. And I've already admitted we can't beat OU.
Not all of them were when OU had freaking
a big majority.
Think about it. Go back and remember the games where you should have beaten OU, and you know damn good and well you could have.
Oh, 100%. We talk about them all the time.
So don't talk about that. So don't say they were all 10 of all of those wins were over 10-win Oklahomas, or losses were against 10-win Oklahoma teams.
A bunch of them.
It doesn't matter. They're still freaking. They've had 46 games against teams with 10 wins, and they're 13-33 under him. That's not even mediocre. That's not even mediocre, Sherman. It's shitty.
You're fucking idiot.
That's not even mediocre, bro. It's
okay,
shit.
come on now. Hold on. Overall body of work, good and daggone well. It took Mike Gundy some time to get Oklahoma State rocking and rolling and get them to where the level they are now. So again, you keep trying to insinuate that he's
I'm not
mediocre.
insinuating. I'm telling you facts, and I'm insinuating it now. It's a fact.
No, you do. Come on, man.
That he's beaten out of conference. He's beaten.
Okay, hold on. If you want to say, hold on, don't sound ridiculous. If you want to say he's mediocre against, some of the top teams over the last 18 years, then that might be viable. That's fine.
Cody, it's a fact that he's beaten 3 freaking winning teams out of conference in the Power 5 in his career. 3. They were 8-5 and 7-6. He's beaten 3 of them. Period.
We probably haven't played very many top 10 out of conference games in Mike Gundy's career.
I didn't say top 10. I said Power 5 with a winning record. 8-5, 7-6.
We haven't played very many of those, dude.
I'm aware. Yeah, I'm aware.
Don't act like y'all are fucking monster schedulers.
Hey,
calm down. You got Maine on your schedule this year. Sit down.
Next year.
Almost 700% winning percentage is not mediocre. You're trying to squeeze it into.
You're playing against. Hey, and you know what? When you don't have any conference championships to back that shit up, then you guys can talk about the winning record all you want to. Different games. Wins are not built equally. They're not. You know damn well they're not.
So
if they were, his 700 winning percentage would have had him at a freaking power school. It doesn't.
Oklahoma State is a power school.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
No, it isn't.
Top 10 winningest program.
Why do you keep saying? Are now? Hold on. Now
it's just sour grapes. It's just sounding ridiculous.
Hey, yeah. Guys, I promise.
And then it's a power program. It's not a power program.
Ridiculous. Typically,
okay.
Oklahoma State football is a power program. Are you serious?
100%.
With one freaking conference title?
That's awesome. You keep bringing that up. We all know that you know that metric. We all know that.
How is it a power program? Explain to me how it's a power program.
Top 10 winningest program over the last 10 years.
I can do that one, but good
Again.
and daggone well with everything that's happened with conference realignment and the direction that all of the conferences and everything is headed towards. You're having the conversation of you're going to have the top 60, 65 teams in the country when it's all said and done, correct? And everybody here knows that Oklahoma State is definitely one of the top 60 teams in the country. Even if you want to cut it down to 48, Oklahoma State's one of the top 48 in the country as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just sour grapes. It's a rivalry that has no real meaning on the football field. The record is terrible. So this is the way OU can kind of dig back at Oklahoma State. We've gotten so much better under Mike Gundy. It's not even funny. It really started under Les Miles. So the 97 season was fun. I really
hope he stays forever, bud.
97 season was fun. Les Miles kind of brought that swagger back to us and went 2-2 against Oklahoma. Mike Gundy takes over, and we are at a point in our program that we haven't ever really been to. Pat Jones was 61-60 in his career at Oklahoma State, and he was the winningest head coach at OSU before Mike Gundy took that mantra. So to be 156-75, to win 66% of your games in a 2-decade period that's at a high that Oklahoma State has never been. And I would be very shocked if you could go name 15 other schools that have won 66% of their games over the last 15 years, because they probably don't exist. So you tell me how that's mediocre. By your metric, Jason, y'all have won one national.
Mediocre because not all wins are created equally. That's why.
Okay, and not all programs are either. You're one of the blue bloods. You've won 2 national championships in my lifetime, and I'm 40. So you tell me how you're meeting your metric either. We're talking about apples and oranges. We're not trying to compete for a national championship every fucking year. We're trying to compete for conference championships. And on those off rare years that we can put a team together like 2011 and 2021, we can go compete for national championship. But your standard is to go win one every year. You haven't done it in 23 seasons. And you're going to call Mike Gundy mediocre? According to your metric, y'all are fucking mediocre.
Hank,
it's been pretty mediocre for a while.
You might want to fix your math. Fix your math, Hank. Fix your math.
Who?
There's Hank in the comments. 60. I mean, it's not quite. average by definition.
What are you saying?
Hank said 66% means average.
Mark Rogers will tell me that Oklahoma State's a top 25 program.
They
What
are a top
what does that have to do with anything?
Oklahoma State's a
It
top.
doesn't make you a power program.
Top 12 program.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are, Jason. Yes, they are.
Oh, this is going to be fun. It's going to be funny in the new Big 12 when you guys don't win still, and then you come and tell me how great you are. You're still not going to win conference championships then. And what is going to be your excuse now that Oklahoma's gone?
What's going to be really funny is when OSU does compete very well. I'm not going to use the D word because I don't think we'll dominate this league. But when we look up the next time we play Bedlam in 2030, the next time that's on the schedule, when we look up when we've won 4 Big 12 championships and y'all won 4 fucking bowl games. And y'all have gone to 4 fucking bowl games in that time period. Come limping into that game, homie.
Right. Four Big 12 championships.
We would have a shit ton of
Big
12 championships if we didn't have to play
4 Big 12 championships by 2030.
You know what, Ham, I'll throw that comment up there. That's another. You know what, I like that actually. Even if there's not going to be a Bedlam for a while, you all know good and daggone well that we're gonna meet up in the 12-team format of the playoffs. It's inevitable, right? Eventually, it's going to happen.
They're gonna make if both teams are in the playoffs.
And I think it makes it even bigger.
There ain't no way.
That OSU is gonna make the playoff?
I believe it when I see it.
That OSU makes the playoff?
Yeah. I'll believe that shit when I see it.
Hey, out of respect.
If you get in because it's 12 teams and you get in the one of those last little teams or whatever like that, okay, maybe, but you'll get smoked game 1. It won't matter.
Out of respect for Cody, I'm going to stay on this podcast. I'm never
when he says stupid stuff like that,
you are an idiot, bro.
If he says stupid stuff like that,
bro, you're a clown, bro. It's ridiculous.
Bro,
you haven't come up with anything. You haven't backed up anything you've said here.
What are you talking about?
Anything.
What are you talking about?
All you talk about is his wins. His wins the last 10 years. That's all you got.
Listen.
That's all you got.
Listen. He's 3-15 against Oklahoma. He's 9-9 against Texas. 11-8 against Baylor. 14-4 against Texas Tech. 9-6 against Kansas State. And we didn't play Kansas State every year. And he's 13-2 against Kansas. So how has he not dominated everybody else in Kansas?
Big deal. Big freaking deal. Kansas has been the worst program in the world for freaking years.
Yep, and we've dominated them. And we've dominated them.
Except for last year.
Okay, we lost. We've lost twice in 15 years against them. So what?
It just doesn't look good.
You lose the games. You lose the games sometimes.
Got it.
Do you even know the circumstances of how we lost that
zone here?
Winning record teams just don't do well against them. You can beat all the teams that don't have a winning record. I get it. Good for you guys.
Zone. He's saying some ridiculous stuff too. That kind of.
You got a winning. Hey, look, I just told you what your winning record is against teams with 10 wins, and I told you what your winning record is against non-conference teams with a winning record. Period. You've won 3 games.
So back that up. Okay, so why did you preface that by saying what Oklahoma has done? If that's so terrible, what has Oklahoma done in that same time frame?
They've won more games than anyone since 2000, period.
Than anybody.
Yes. They've won more conference championships. Yes. They've won more conference championships than anyone in the country, period.
That's probably a fact.
They're both facts. They're both facts.
They have the most overall wins of anybody in the country since 2000.
That's right.
Hang on. And one national championship to show for it. So not all wins are created equal.
It's more than you freaking got, buddy.
Not all wins are created equal.
And they also won 6 freaking Big 12 championships during your best freaking time.
It's a bunch of fucking scrubs, according to you. Y'all can't beat the dudes.
6 straight.
We're all scrubs. 6 straight. We're all scrubs. So none of those championships matter. We're all scrubs. The conference sucks.
They matter. They matter more than the Okie Light wins do, bud. They do matter more than the Okie Light wins.
I would
definitely matter more than that.
Fantastic to have conference championships against a bunch of teams that we think fucking suck. You think we all suck, so that shouldn't matter.
14
y'all can't go win the big one.
The Big 12 was created. 14 of them. to your 1.
Yeah.
6 in a row
Yeah.
during your most successful time in Oklahoma State
This
history.
is the ninth time.
One
This is the ninth time you said this. Can we move on? This is the ninth
what
time
else
you
you
said
got?
it.
What else do you got? You're
But
telling me
according to
that
you, all these teams
none
are
of it
scrubs.
matters, right? None of it
They're
matters,
all
right?
scrubs. So those wins shouldn't matter to y'all.
Well, they don't matter to anybody that wants a national championship. I can tell you that.
Well,
but
they-
you
I
know
like
what?
that one.
That still makes Oklahoma a damn sight better than Oklahoma State.
Nobody's arguing that fact.
Hey,
Nobody's
Jason,
arguing that fact.
Watkins, do you think OU will do better in the SEC than Oklahoma State does in the Big 12?
I do.
No, bro. Come on,
Look at the
man.
recruiting. All you got to do is look at the recruiting and see, bud. Here's the difference. Here's the difference between Oklahoma and
Well,
Oklahoma
hold on.
State.
You
guys just sit there and freaking and project this stuff, not knowing what it looks like to be a championship program. Oklahoma
But you
has
do.
a coach that's
But
going to
you
put.
do.
Yeah.
Oh man.
They have a winning. Oklahoma has a winning record all time against every school in the SEC.
Locker room behind
Every
you.
school in the
You don't
SEC.
know shit, bro. You don't know a damn thing about what
Oklahoma has a winning record against every team in the SEC. Sherman.
You
Every
don't
team
know
in the
shit
SEC.
about winning. You don't. That's what I asked you. You don't.
Oh, because are we going to?
we
Because I didn't
that,
play
we,
college
we,
football.
we,
Is that
we.
where we're going? Is that where we're
No.
going? I didn't play
It
college
is.
football.
We. You
Okay.
don't know shit about winning. Nothing.
Okay, whatever you want to say.
If
I
about
will
winning.
say,
Your
bro,
metric-
I do find it pretty. I don't know. I don't think there's any way that OU is going to have more success than Oklahoma State in the Big 12. Even if you just take it from the argument of the Big 12 is
If
easier,
Oklahoma
which
wins
I
one
think
conference
that's
championship,
also
that'll be more
ridiculous.
than freaking you've
Bro,
had in the Big 12.
You know the bottom half of the SEC would get destroyed by the bottom half of the Big 12. Get out of here.
Wrong. I don't know that.
Oh, Jesus.
When's the last time OU beat an SEC team in a meaningful game?
They beat Alabama with Derrick Henry there. And that was
in the
year
Sugar
that
Bowl?
2013.
In the
You
Sugar
remember?
Bowl?
Yeah. The year that they freaking that you should have been in the Sugar Bowl instead.
you're
Remember
so
that?
funny,
That was
dude.
the same year that you should have been in
You're
the
talking
year
about,
before.
hang on. Speaking of winning championships, you're talking about the Alabama team that lost in the Big 12 champion or in the SEC championship that should have been playing for a national title that didn't give two fucks about playing you on the Sugar Bowl, right? You talking about that team?
Okay. Yeah. Oh, so that just like you're winning
Okay,
in
so
the
answer
that
the
was like
question.
your Fiesta Bowl win
Answer the
last a
question.
couple of years ago.
In a meaningful game where both teams cared about being there, when's the last time you beat an SEC team in a big time bowl game?
You go back and look at it. Make your point. Make your point for me.
It's the same things you're throwing at me, dude. You can't do that either.
I
So you're
just gave
fucking
you
mediocre, bro.
everything
You're
I said to
mediocre,
you.
bro.
I backed it up with an actual stat. You're
So
just
am I.
asking questions
When's
out
the
of the
last
blue.
time you beat
Like I'm going to
an
jump
SEC
on there
team?
and make sure I go back and look at it. If you have a reason, then give it to me. Otherwise, don't come in here and freaking do that crap. I don't have to go and look up your stuff for you on. You have Google as well. You do. Go look it up yourself.
But you get on my.
They do have a winning
hang on.
record. They have a winning record against every program in the SEC. Every one of them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How many of those wins came in the 40s, 50s, and 60s?
It's a winning record against every program in the SEC. Period.
Yes. Yes. That's awesome.
Go look at you can
Hang
go
on,
look it
whoa,
up
whoa.
yourself.
That's
You
false.
just ask a question
That's
out of the
false.
blue because you think you know
Hold on,
something and you
hold on,
don't
hold on.
know what it is.
That's false. Y'all have a losing record against Texas, don't you?
They're not in the SEC yet. They're not in
Damn.
the SEC yet. I'm saying we have the existing SEC. Oklahoma has a winning record against all of them.
Well, I mean, technically, I think we're 1-1
All
against
of them.
Georgia. Hang on. Technically, I think we're 1-1 against Georgia. We're undefeated against Alabama. I don't know how many other SEC teams we played way back in the day, but you want to go to those metrics, we're undefeated against Alabama too.
I'm just saying there's a difference in how this goes. That you
Yeah,
guaranteed you guys are okay with mediocrity and winning a bunch of games and not winning conference championships. You know damn good and well that's not okay in Norman. You know that. They're not gonna. If Venables doesn't work out, then they will get another coach that will win. This is how
y'all ran his ass out of town 10 years ago. Y'all run his ass out of town.
That's a stupid freaking thing to say too.
No,
that's
it's not.
exactly, damn well know better.
Dude,
than
I
that.
live in Norman. I know exactly.
I don't care whether you live in Norman. That's not what happened. And you were saying that shit the other night from the chirping section.
It's the fucking truth.
It's not the truth. It's not the truth.
How did it go down?
They didn't run him off. They brought Mike Stoops back
to be co-coordinator
because he was not going to freaking be co-DC again. He wasn't going to do it.
Okay.
And what he did, they ran him off. You could say, even if you think that that's the fact, he went and won 2 national championships and played for 2 more and had a top 10 defense in the country all but 2 years.
Yep. How come he couldn't do that at OU, I wonder?
Because it's been pretty bad, but wait and see what you get out of them coming up. You guys couldn't beat that 6 and 7 team. In fact, you got smoked by that 6 and 7 team. So don't talk shit about freaking Venables when he just beat the shit out of your great coach.
I'm just talking about why he couldn't do it at OU when he was here before either. Why couldn't he do it then?
He did.
When?
They won a national championship with him as defensive coordinator. You do know that.
Brent Venables was the defensive coordinator in 2000? No, sir.
He was.
Mike Stoops was the defensive coordinator.
Look it up yourself.
I'm not proving your point for you. You got Google too.
I said that he freaking was. I know the facts. He was the co-defensive coordinator. Okay. He was always the co-defensive coordinator other than those years before he freaking went. Mm-hmm. Before Mike went to Arizona and got his teeth kicked in. That's it. That's it.
Very fair.
And he's his defenses are fine. Guaranteed 8 out of 10 years that he was there, he had a top 10 defense. He was number 1 in scoring defense 2 or 3 times. They didn't just forget how to do it. They didn't have anything in the cupboard there, bud. But you can keep listening to the Colin Cowherds of the world all you want to. Wait and see.
Okay.
We're going to beat the shit out of you guys this year, just like we do every other year in your house.
Who the fuck is we?
The same way that you guys say it.
We.
You got it all. Hey, they're going to beat the shit out of you. He'll be 2-0 against your freaking great coach, Mike Gundy.
Okay.
I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that, buddy. It's the last one. Okay. It's in Stillwater. It's going to be for quite some time.
You're going to get
a lot of storylines. I don't know, man. No. You're just saying that to be saying stuff now.
No, I'm not.
He's just been saying stuff.
Made some articulable points.
No, I haven't just been saying so. I've been backing up what I've been saying. You haven't. You have yet to do it once, Jason.
Okay.
So keep on talking. You just do a bunch of that.
That's all you do.
Big boy, big mouth. That's all you got. That's all you got. Big mouth.
That's like the pot calling the kettle black, fat boy. Right? I mean, I can get rude and personal too.
You calling me a fat guy?
That's what you just called me. That's what you just said. Big boy, big mouth. That's like the pot calling the kettle black, fat boy.
I was talking about your overall size. But,
I'm pretty short. I'm only 5'10". Pretty short.
Okay. Well,
I grew up with a lot of guys like you, dude. I'm from Norman. I know the gig with OU fans. You're one of those fucking kids that was never any good at football. You've watched OU your entire life. They've been really good. They are a blue blood program, and you live your entire adult life based on what OU
about me, dude. You don't know.
I'm just saying in general. I know fans like you, dude. I know
Jason wins.
I know fans just like you, dude.
Dude, I'm out of here, man. We'll see y'all later. Enjoyed the show.
Can't say that I
have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right, buddy. All right. Well, by rules of attrition, I guess. I didn't see that coming. Huh. Anyways, well, we've got.
I just don't understand, and it's any fan base in the country. If you're going to say Mike Gundy's a mediocre coach, that's just not a true and factual statement. That's just not true. And when you're going to say not true stuff, then you should get off the show. That just doesn't make any sense. Nobody's coming on here bashing the University of Oklahoma. We all admit as Oklahoma State fans, the University of Oklahoma is a very good program, right? And all we want is for you to give us our due to. Yeah, we're 3-15 or whatever in the Mike Gundy era against OU. We admit that. We understand that. But for him to say that they're going to have more success in the SEC than we do in the new Big 12, That's absurd too, man.
Yeah, I think that is a little bit of a wild ride there. Clearly, just simply because I don't know, the level of competition is going to be a little bit different, right? And I do think that the Big 12 is going to have a large portion of time to be able to kind of chip away at whatever the gap is or was in regards to the talent gap. And it is also crazy to not think that it's inevitable that we're going to end up meeting up a few times. And that's why I think this whole Bedlam coming back or not coming back is kind of because I do think that it'll sort itself out. I do think that we'll inevitably end up playing each other. And yeah, it'll be pretty sweet when it does. And then eventually it'll come back. All big time rivalries traditionally do. I mean, you look at Pitt, West Virginia, that went away for a very, very long time. And now it's back. So yeah.
It's a shitty situation all the way around, man. Like, I understand why the University of Oklahoma left to go to the SEC. I understand it. Money is the name of the game. You got to have money to make it all go right. Right? That's funny, Andrew. That's pretty funny. But then in turn, don't gaslight Oklahoma State and make it like it's our problem why that game's not going to happen. I tried to tell him that we're full up till 2030, and he's telling me that I'm full of shit. Like, I hope not, Connor. I really hope not. You're going to sit here and tell me that you're sitting here telling me that I'm full of shit, and I've literally got the official Oklahoma State website pulled up with our official non-conference schedule moving forward. He wants to throw out all these stats, and I knew he was going to hit me with that one. I almost wrote that down about the 3 and whatever, only won 3 times over a Power 5 non-conference opponent with a winning record, and that we were 13 and 33 or whatever all time against top 25 opponents or whatever that fucking deal that he brought up was. I knew he was going to bring that up. Those are the only negative things you can say about Mike Gundy. That's it. Outside of that, he has been a very fantastic coach. Can't beat OU, and nobody acts like he can.
He said, yeah, buddy, sorry. Feel bad for Oregon State, right? Your colors are cool. That's awesome. But, at the end of the day, if I were to have it my way, I would prefer to wait a little bit longer so that way we can steal some teams from the ACC.
Well, we have
I'd tell you this. I would rather steal Oregon State than Stanford or Cal on any day of the week. So if it's, hey, you got to take Oregon State or Stanford, sign me up for the Beavers, buddy.
Apparently there's some reports out that the Big 12 has been contacted, like Brett Yormark has been contacted by ESPN asking like if they help facilitate it and foot some of the bill getting them here and blah, 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 if that would be an option. Now, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know who this is, but the getting personal thing, I will admit that was pretty unnecessary regardless. News is we coming. No, I think we'd be okay with it. I think we'd be okay with Oregon State. I just, again,
I don't know. We have
I would prefer some ACC schools.
We have so many teams out east that we need to worry about. I don't want Central Florida and West Virginia getting antsy and getting a bad taste in their mouth. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have any animosity, and that's why I'm glad. Like, how many times have we talked to fan bases all over the country? And there's only 2 times that it ever gets the way it did with me and Jason, and that's when you talk to OU fans and some of them crazy Oregon State fans on Twitter. Outside of that, we have
Utah had some fans that were pretty. UCF. I think by I don't know, just by general numbers, has a lot more special ridiculousness. 2 divisions East West. Okay, State plays in the West. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing. Wouldn't be the worst thing, buddy. If they're worse in 20 years. Yeah, that's very true.
Factual statement, Lucas.
Yeah.
That is factual. Yeah. Nobody
last year hurt, man. Last year sucked.
But let's not act like we were full strength going into that game either. Yeah, OU wasn't very good, but we weren't very good at that point in the season either.
I don't know.
We weren't. You're telling me Spencer Sanders was 100% going into Bedlam last year?
Oh, no.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but I mean,
yes, we did lose to a bad OU team last year, but we weren't very good going into that game either.
yeah, but dude, we should have. It is what it is. You know what? I do think that that's kind of why I'm most excited, other than just the talent and the two deep, is if there's a year, right, that you're going to get that all gas, no brakes, cutthroat Gundy, it's got to be this one. And I think it will be. Even though our offense is going to be more old school, much more simplistic, I do think that we're still going to be able to put up some points just because of the run game.
Right. I do agree with Connor about Oliver Luck, though.
Yeah.
I do think if Oliver Luck had been involved in that situation instead of George Kleofkoff, I think that would have been much different for the Pac-12. You're right, Wes. Nobody ever is full strength, but we were in a bad way at the end of the season last year. We were in a real bad way.
Well, Wet, that's why this season is going to be fun, buddy.
Yeah, it would be nice if we could recruit deeper, but it just doesn't happen. Oh, and before we get off here, I did mean to start the show with do want to give a shout out, thoughts and prayers to the communities of Choctaw and Del City.
Yeah.
Terrible situation that happened last night. I don't know if you saw the reports, but that 16-year-old young man did pass away.
I did not see that.
Yeah, he passed away today. It's just a bad situation all around. I don't guess he went to school, either one of them. I don't know what the circumstances are. There's nobody in custody right now, so that's crazy though. That's like right down the road for me. I mean, that's literally 20 minutes down the road.
It's wild, bro.
Yeah. Did you see the video of it?
Of the people scrambling and the shooting and stuff. Yeah,
that's crazy. That is crazy. And I don't know. I may have went too ham on Jason, and I know he's your buddy.
Well, it wasn't that. I just think it when it gets personal, I think it's hard. It's hard to understand the points that are being articulated at that point.
Sure, absolutely. But when you call somebody fat, and it's like the pot calling the kettle black, there, big guy. So, I just can't. I can't stand conversating with fans like that. Like, yeah, he had one decent point. He's right. That's that one little fact about Mike Gundy, and he couldn't let it go. But he didn't reiterate that by, oh, okay, cool, y'all won 14 Big 12 championships, but you just sit here and told us how every other team we beat in the Big 12 other than OU, they're dog shit, and none of those wins matter. They're not created equal. So what does that say about your championships? I don't know. I don't get it. I can't stand OU fans, to be real honest with you. I hate OU. I just hate them. I hate OU fans. I'll put it that way. Can't stand them.
Well, you know what, man? It got wild. It got exciting. I think there was some points made on both sides of the aisle, and I try to just kind of stay in the middle for most of it, and just try to have a good time with it. But I've got to go make some dinner. Jason, thank you for coming in here, brother. I wish the other Jason would have hung on so we could at least say goodbye to the fine people. But go ahead and tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. Oh, and make sure to let the fine people out here know tomorrow we're going to be going live with Sir Tatum Bell.
That's right. Tatum Bell tomorrow. Where are we going? 7 o'clock, Cody?
Yeah, yes.
7 o'clock tomorrow evening, right here, same bat time, same bat channel. Tatum Bell live and in person. You can catch me on Twitter at Cowboy Image. I come on pretty much every Sunday with Cody Stovall here, and we do our little Sherman Schnitzel Sunday.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
All righty, y'all. Well, hey. I appreciate it. We'll start doing these live every Saturday, most likely about an hour or so after the game as well.
Yes, sir.
Toodles, peoples.
See you guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
God bless. Go Pokes. We out, y'all. Later, taters.